good evening, everyone. My name is Rochak Agarwal, and I am having around 15 years of total IT experience, mostly in DevOps and cloud. So I'm a certified AWS solution architect. On the Google side, I'm a certified professional cloud architect. Or similarly, on the Microsoft, I'm a Azure solution architect as well. And I'm a HashiCorp certified Terraform associate as well. So in today's class, we are going to cover the Git, which is basically the building block of the DevOps. So Git, in our previous demo also we discussed about uh, we start with the development, and the version control system, which is Git, is the first step on which our foundation will be built, like other DevOps mechanism like continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous delivery, and all of that will be built on top of the version control system. So this is the first step towards our DevOps journey. And In this class, we are going to understand what is Git, what is a version. First, before going to Git, we will understand what is a version control system. And then we will come to Git, which is a tool to implement the version control system. So I'll share my screen. Please confirm if you're able to share. Yeah, my screen is visible.
Yes, clearly.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Sure. Thank you. So what we are going to cover in this class, we are going to cover first the basics about the version control system. We need to understand what is a version control system. Then we will see the CLI command. So CLI is nothing but a command line interface. What are the different commands? So Git is there. And then in the end, we are going to see how we are going to set up Git and GitHub as well. So first, we need to understand what is the version control system. Okay. So version control system, let's say if you are a developer, okay, when you develop your software, there will be multiple files, software file you will be working on, right? A, B, C, D, for example, there's a multiple file, and you will keep doing the changes in your files. Okay. So for example, sometime you say, let's say X is equal to 10, but going forward, you need to change the value of X, right? So when you are a developer, you first thing is you are going to deal with multiple files. Okay. Secondly, you are going to change those files on a regular interval, because see, software development is an incremental process. You do some code, then you'll do some more code, and etc., etc. So as a developer, you need to deal with two things. One is you are going to deal with multiple files. Second is you are going to change those files multiple times as well. Okay. Now let's say you make some changes in one file, and you saved your file, right? Um, but after some time, you realize that whatever you have done is not working good in a good manner. Now you want to go back to previous version, okay? But since you have saved your file, you have updated your file, there is no way in a manual sense that you can go back to your previous version. And this is just, we are talking about one or two versions. Let's say you make some changes um, on Monday. Now on Friday, you want to make it revert to your previous changes. So when you are dealing with the multiple files, this process will become very chaotic. And that is where version control system comes into the play. So when you implement a version control system for your software development, what it does, it is going to keep track of all the files which is there in your workspace, first thing. And then whenever you are making any changes to any of the file, okay, any changes in any of the files. So let's say if you have 100 files, out of these 100 files, if any changes, even a comma or a semicolon you are doing, adding or deleting somewhere, the version control system is going to keep a track of all the changes happening in your file system. It will tell you who have done the changes, when have the changes has been done, so that whenever you want to go to a particular version, not the latest one, okay, not the previous latest one, any version, if you want to go back to, you can go seamlessly. So that is the role of a version control system, right? So version control system tracks the changes made. Any changes you are making to any of the file, it is going to keep the track of this. Revert back to any changes. Whenever you want to go from version V1 to version N-2, N-3, N-4, you can easily go. It can also do the comparison. So let's say you make some changes. Now your software is not working as expected. So you need to know what things you have changes, what are the changes has been made, so that you can compare the previous stable version to your latest version, and you can easily find out what can be the problem, right? And it keep tracks of who has done the changes, when the changes has been done. And there's a very good thing in the version control system is whenever any changes are being happening, you need to pass on a message. Why are you doing these changes? So that by looking at the message, someone will know that why this changes has been done. And if you are not having this version control system, manually managing all of this will be very cumbersome process and very chaotic process. So that is where version control system, you can get all these benefit with minimal effort, because once you install the software, it is going to take care of all these activities. Clear? Any question in the definition of a version control system? And it is not about the software management practices, software development practices. Version control system you can implement anywhere. So for example, you are accountant, right? You are getting invoices from multiple vendors, and every week, every day you are getting updated invoices, right? So you can implement version control there as well, where you can keep track of the invoices coming from multiple vendors, what are the changes is coming in those invoices. All of those things we can easily track with the version control system. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, so if we talk about the version control system, we understand what is the version control system, right? Now we need to understand how we are going to implement the version control system, right? So there are different tools are available in market. With the use of those tools, you are going to implement the version control system. And out of these tools, Git is one of the tool which is like most commonly used. And when I'm saying most commonly used, 95% of the time someone is saying the version control system, they are referring to Git. Okay. So what is Git? Git is a free and open source distributed version control system designed to handle everything from small to very large project with speed and efficiency. Now, when it's saying Git is free, now what does it mean? You do not need to purchase any license for it. Okay. So I am using it, you are using it, anyone can use it. No cost at all. And then it is an open source distributed version control system. So distributed version control system is when multiple people collaborate to work on the same code base, right? Because see, when you are working in an organization, you might not be the only developer who's working on the code. There will be multiple software developer who is working on the same application, right? So then the version control system not only need to keep track of your changes, but the other person changes also, because they are also working on the same code base, right? So that is where Git is a distributed version control system where we can collaboratively work with other team members as well. And it can handle very small project to a very large number of the projects as well. Okay. Now, before we move how Git works and all of that, let's first install Git. So installing Git is very easy. What you need to do is go to the Git official website. It's a Git download. Okay. So right now I'm using the Windows-based operating system. So I'll go Git install, and there I can choose any operating system, whichever is your machine is. So right now I am using on the Windows machine. So I'll just say I'll download the installer. Very simple, nothing we need to do. And before that, I'll go to my command prompt and type Git. It says Git is not recognized as an internal or external command. It means Git is not installed on my system as of now. So I'll just click on this exe file. Just simple steps, nothing fancy we need to do. And you guys must be doing this whenever you're installing any software on your computer. Very simple to that. And next, next, next. It will take a minute or so. Okay, just finish. Simple. Git is installed for you. Now, how can I verify this? I'll just restart my command prompt. See, there are I am seeing multiple commands like git clone, git init, add. It means Git is installed on my system. Clear? Any question till now while installing the Git?
No, sir. No.
All good? Priyansh, Aman, Shaloni.
Yes, sir.
No. No.
Okay. Now, so before setting up the Git, we need to understand this, how Git works. So Git is very easy to work with. Okay. There is nothing much in Git. Okay. So there is three concepts only: working directory, staging area, and repository. If we understand this, then there is nothing much in Git. The Git is very simple to learn. Okay. Now, when I'm saying I am going to have a multiple, see, Git in the end is a version control system, right? What is the role of a version control system? The role of a version control system is that it is going to store all the versions of a file. Correct? Now, all the versions of the file, then let's say I have a folder. I'll just open the. So let's say I have one file. Let's say I'm taking this with an example of a one file. So this is my one file. Okay. I'll say abc.txt, something. This is version one. Okay. Now, if I add something, for example, let's say I go create a text file here, for example, abc.txt. I'll write something here. Let's say I'm saying this is my V1, version 1. Correct? I'll save this. Now, if I need to make any changes to this file, okay, now let's say till now we are not talking about any version control system, right? So let's say I edit the file and I'm saying now this is my version 2. I'll save this. Now, when you open this file, are you going to see the version 1 or version 2?
Version 2.
Version 2. So your previous versions has been lost. Correct? Now, when you implement the version control system like Git, we will see that. And I'm going to this directory. What will happen? Am I going to see all of the versions? What is going to happen? So how Git works is there is three areas internally Git manages. Okay. So we will see this with an example. I will create a folder and I'll say Git demo. Okay. Now I'll open my command prompt, there is for Git, there is a Git dash, a Git CLI, which is also being installed on your system. I'll say, I'll go to desktop where my folder is. Okay. Now, how Git works is, first you need to initiate a repository inside the folder. See, when you implement the version control, you are not going to implement the version control on all the files which is available in your system. You implement the version control on a particular folder. So let's say I want to implement the version control on the Git demo, means whatever the files will be there, they will be tracked. Outside the Git demo, whatever I'm doing, that will not be tracked. So to keep it track within the Git, what we need to do, we need to initialize the repository. So I'll say git init. What it will do, this command is going to initiate a repository. This is initialized empty Git repository in C users rocher or OneDrive, right? Now, whatever I do in this folder, that will be version control. How I can say that? Now I'm going to open a file. Say again the same thing I'll do, abc.txt, and I'll say this is my version 1. Okay. Now understand this very, very carefully, and if we understand this concept, there's nothing in Git. Okay, so now what is happening is I created a file. Now this file is not being tracked by Git. We need to explicitly tell Git, I have created a file, please track it. So there is a command in Git which says Git status. Okay, so it says untracked file. Can you see? I created one file, but I'm not tracking this with the Git as of now. So if I'm updating it, deleting it, Git will not do anything because this file is not being tracked by Git. Clear till now? Any question?
Basically, we are creating a bridge between Git and the folder, right?
Creating a bridge between?
Git and the folder, right? By doing init.
Yes, you can say that. Yes. So if you see this, the diagram also, this staging area, if you see, is a bridge. Okay.
Right.
Right. And here, if you see, this is my working directory because in a real-time basis, I'm interacting with this folder. Correct. So this folder is my working directory. Staging area is my bridge. And in the last, it will, if I track it with the Git, it will be part of this repository. Okay. Okay. So now what I need to do is, it will give you all the commands also. So you see, git add. Now, if you want a file to be tracked by Git, it says git add, and I will give my file name. Okay. Perfect. Now, if I run the git status again, it says there is no commits yet. Okay. There is new file I have added to Git. Now Git is tracking it, but Git has not committed a version out of it. Okay. Now, to create a version out of it, we need to commit the file, commit the changes which we have made. So again, what do you need to do? Git commit. And we have said that whenever you are committing anything to a version control system, you need to pass on a message. So -m and a meaningful message you have to give it to a version control system. For example, I can say this is my first commit to my version control system. Okay. And here you see one file change, one insertion. Okay. Now, if you see Git status, it says nothing to commit because whatever file I have created, it's already committed, right? And if you see Git log, it says the author is Rochak, and I have done a commit on Friday, February 13, 7:28 p.m. and in this GMT plus 5:30 time zone. And why I have done this commit? This is showing me my message. Okay. So when you create, you will be working in your working directory. Any changes you will do, that changes will be you will be doing in your working directory. After that, you need to make your file tracked by Git. Tracking means Git is tracking, but it has not finalized the version. So when you are done with your changes, okay, then you create a version out of it. Clear? Now, let's say I am going and creating a change, creating some changes in it. Okay. Now I'll say this is my version 2. Okay. I'll save this. Now tell me where we have done these changes. In my working directory, right?
Yes.
Correct. So, but now this file is already, so if you see it now, Git status, it says modified, right? Because this file Git is already tracking. In previous step, we have tell Git to track this file. So whenever you do any modification, Git is saying you have modified it. You do not need to track it again because I'm already tracking it. Correct. So changes not staged for commit, Git add file, modified. So again, you need to make a commit -m. This is my second commit. Oh, I have not saved it or what? Just give me a second. Modify this file to do some changes. Okay, so Git, and there is another version of Git commit. See, there is two steps of this process. One is you add those file to track, okay, and then you commit those changes. So we can run those two commands together: git -commit -a -m, and I'll say this is my second commit. And if you see the Git log, you are going to see the two versions of my file. First is on 728, another is a 732. Correct? Now, tell me one thing. On my working directory, which file I am going to see? If I am going to see the version 1 or if I am going to version 2. Can anyone tell?
So can you repeat the question once?
Yeah. So now we had one file abc.txt. We committed that file. So that was my version 1. Correct? After that, we did some changes. Correct? And again committed it. And we can verify those commits. So now I have a two version. One is this version and another is this one. Understood till now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now my question to you is, since I have a two version now, correct? Version 1 and version 2. If I am going to my folder and I am saying version control system, if I have implemented the version control system, it is going to keep track of all the versions. If it is 220 or 200, does not matter. Correct? Now you have two versions of your file. in your folder, when I go, which version I am going to see if I open this file? That is the question.
Latest version.
Latest version. Okay. Anyone else?
So basically, we are going to check that from the CLI, right?
Okay. No. So see, this is my file. In the end, I'm going to work with my working directory, right? My folder. So if I am
Yeah.
opening this file, I have two versions. First is version 1, another is version 2. So the question here is which version I am going to see here if I open this file.
Version 2.
Version 2. Okay.
Version 2, sir.
Okay. Yeah. See,
Version
generic.
2, sir.
Yes. Right. You by default, if you are not doing anything, then you are going to see, I would not say it like version 2, we would say the latest version. Okay. So any changes if you do and you commit it, you are always going to see the latest version in your working directory. So if I open this file, I am going to see the version 2. But now let's say if I do version 3, I make further changes. Okay. I save this. Again, I will do commit. I'll say this is my third commit. Correct? And you can see it from the log. Now I have three commits. Commit this one, and commit this one. Now we are not going to see the second version. We are going to see the third version because third is my latest version. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's say if I want to see, so there, if you are seeing, there is something called a head. Correct? Can you see the head?
Yes.
Okay. So when we are saying we are always going to see the latest version in my working directory, that is where, because my head is at my working directory. Oh, sorry. My head is at the latest commit. That is why we are going to see the latest commit in my working directory. Clear? But let's say if I go to any another version, so I'll do git checkout. I'll control copy paste the commit ID. Okay. Now you see, understand this pattern very carefully. Okay. Here, head is pointing to this 58C66, correct? Which is my version 3. Clear? So that is why I am going to see the version 3 file in my working directory. But now, if you see here in git log, now it is pointing to 8AC36, which is my version 2. So if now I am going to open my file in my working directory, it is going to show me the latest version. Oh, sorry, the version number 2. Can I open? Now you see. So anytime you can switch the version also in your working directory. So to answer this, whatever commit my head is pointing to, right? Whatever commit my head is pointing to, I am going to see that version in my working directory. As simple as that. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, Git keep tracks all the versions. But in your working directory, you are only going to see the one version only, right? Because otherwise it will be how you are going to decide which version you need to click and all of that, right? So by default, it will show you the latest version. But at any point of time, if you want to go to any previous version as well, we can check out to other versions also. Clear? Any question?
As
Yes, sir.
you checked out of version 3, right?
Mhm.
So
No,
as you checked out of version 3,
no,
yeah.
I'll
So the data got lost or like what?
no, data did not got lost. See, that is the beauty of the version control system.
Okay.
Git is tracking all of that internally. It is just you are seeing only one version in your system.
Okay.
So if I'll show you how. So if you see here, so in this folder, you are only seeing one file, abc.txt, correct?
Yes.
But if you see here, if I show you from command line, see there is a folder called .git,
Mhm.
okay, which has all the metadata of all the files which is being version controlled by the system. So effectively, if I say if I delete this .git folder, your whole version history will be deleted.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, so Git internally manages all of those things. So there's many things will be there, config, references, objects, add, many things are there, which is that how Git is working and all of that. But if you are not doing anything, you are going to have the latest version. But at any point of time, you can go and switch to any other version in Git. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
So one last question.
yes, please.
That when you checked out of the 3, right? So
Hmm.
you logged out of the 3 and automatically it went to the immediate commit, right? Which was 2.
No,
But
no.
now
I
if the requirement, yeah.
I came to 2 because I have given the commit ID. So if you see the Git log, there is a commit
Okay.
ID with every commit. So whatever the commit ID,
Okay.
whatever the commit ID you give, on that commit it will go, on that version it will go. It is not like it come to 3 to 2. No, it
Uh,
refers the commit
okay.
ID.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is whatever we are doing. We are doing in our local system, right? So for example, if let's say you and I are working on a system, right? I am working right now on my laptop. Now, if I want to share those versions with you, how I'm going to do it, right? So that is where you need a collaboration platform. Okay. So this is Git. The collaboration platform is GitHub. So GitHub. So I'll share this cheat sheet as well. So there you are going to see multiple commands. Also, there some of them we have seen in the class. Also, git log, git init, git clone. So GitHub is a place. GitHub is a place. Let me sign in. GitHub is a place where you are going to upload your changes, do your changes, and then you are going to share it with other people. Okay. So, for example, I have this uh, simple Hello World program, right? Now, you have done some changes. I can copy this file, copy this repository. So, right now, what we did is we created a fresh repository, correct? Now, what I'll do is I will create another folder. I'll go to command from the command line. I'll go to the folder, other folder. Okay. So here, what I'll do, I want to work with an existing repository. So you choose the repository, and there you are going to see there is an option of clone. I'll copy this. Right now, you see there is nothing in my Git demo 2 folder. Okay. So I'll go to my command line again. and I'll run the git clone command. And I'm giving the repository of my, I'm giving the URL of my repository. Okay. So it is a public repository. That is why without authentication, it is going to be copied. But if it is a private repository, then you need to provide your authentication mechanism as well. So if I run the git clone command, this is cloning into hello world. And now if you see in the folder, hello world is there. And inside the hello world, all the things I have copied, cloned basically. Now what I can do is, okay, so here if you see git status, if you see, you have not only copied the latest versions, sorry, git log. Can someone tell why I'm getting this error? Any idea?
You have to attach, like, create a bridge between the Git folder and the Git.
Kind of, yes, but see, my repository right now on command line, I am inside this folder, git demo 2. But my
Need
repository
to
is inside hello.
initialize.
So I need to go to hello world. Okay. And here, if I run git log, so you understand, I have not only downloaded or copied the latest version, I have downloaded the entire version history of this repository. You can see so many versions are there, right? So I have made some changes on January 3, January 3, January 3. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 versions are there. Correct. Now let's say I can make some changes, and again, I can push those changes to my repository as well. So how I can do that? Let's say, what are the files are there? So let's say I'll make some changes in new file. Okay. So I will write, I am making some changes in this file to show the collaboration. I'll save this. Now before the thing, let's here validate what we are seeing it here. So here you see, just the previous version is there. Correct. Again, the same thing. You are, when you see the git status, git will say you have changed some file. You see, new file.txt you have changed, right? And the commit, if you see, is head is on 4A08. Now what I'll do, again, I'll get -a -m. This is my latest commit. Okay. It is giving me error. Oh, I'm not writing the commit altogether. Right? Now I've made some commit. Now till now you have done the commit on your local system, right? So git log. If you see, 408 was the uh, previous commit. Now I have made it to 2E6A. And here, if you see, I can go to the commits. So you can see all the commits you can see here. All the commit ID you have seen. Now, you know, I need to push those commit, which I have done on my local, to my remote repository, right? So for that, we have the command So command. This is a command git remote add origin. Sorry, I have to give the. Origin already exists. Okay, so I'll just say git push, and it will push my changes to my remote repository. Okay, now if I go to my remote repository and if I'll refresh it, you see 2 minutes ago. And now if you open this, so you can see now anyone can download these changes. They can work on top of these changes and do their modification as well. So GitHub is a place where you can work in a collaborative environment where people can work collaboratively and collectively to work on their code base. So this is the role of GitHub. In the end, you are going to do all your changes in your local system only, but to share it with other people. See, whatever I'm doing on my local, how the other people will know. So that is where GitHub is a bridge which collects multiple people. They can push their changes to GitHub and other people can clone it or download it from the GitHub repository as well. Clear? So I'll take the next 5-10 minutes for the questions. Any questions do we have? I know we have some time limits, and within the time frame, whatever we can cover, we have covered it. So the last 5-10 minutes, I want to have for the questions. So any questions you have?
As a DevOps engineer, do we have to write how many of these Git commands and what we need to do this?
Okay. See, as a DevOps engineer, see, first I'll tell you, Git is a tool where most of the development team will be using because development team is the one who is doing the coding. Correct. Now,
Yes.
the thing is, see, as a DevOps engineer, you will also write certain code. For example, in terms of scripting, in terms of Terraform code, in terms of Docker files, in terms of Kubernetes artifact. So you would also like to version control them. So that is where you will create your own repositories. You will create your different versions of these files. So I would say as a DevOps engineer, it might not be your primary responsibility, but you will have to do it. So you'll create for different application, you'll create different repos. And of course, we have not covered everything about Git. There is a concept of branches as well. Then we can implement certain security controls on this GitHub. So here, if you go, security settings also we can do. So there are certain security policy. So as a DevOps engineer, you will be the admin of this version control system where you will define who can push the code to a different branch, what type of code you can apply certain checks and approvals. So those type of activities we need to do with respect to the version control system. But if you're managing some code, for example, you're writing Terraform code. So then, yes, you need to create and upload, push and push the code as well.
Okay, okay, got it.
So Madhuri, Praveen, Satish, Sai, Arya, any doubt, Manal? So Nali, do you have any doubt? I remember you from the last session. I'll be good. Pooja, Tushar, Akshay.
Yeah, but one more thing I want to ask, like in last session, this all you have not told. You have told about DevOps and all, what DevOps will cover and all. This GitHub is new, right?
Correct,
Last.
correct. So it's so the last class was a generic session about the program.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
This is where what see this is Git is one topic of that program. So if you remember in last class, we covered the DevOps lifecycle, right? In which the first step was build. So this Git is a build and code. So when you code, right? So when you code, then you need to you will want to version control your code because you will probably make some changes on a frequent basis. Then how will you track all of those things? So that is where version control comes into the picture.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Once your code is there in the version control system, then you will go to higher stages like continuous integration, continuous delivery, deployment, configuration management, which is going to be covered in the subsequent sessions.
Rochak, you're making changes in the file, and then
Mm-hmm.
you're checking if the changes are reflecting in Git, right? But I believe we can change the file content from Git also, right? From the CLI,
Yes, we
we
can
can
do
do
that.
that, right?
We can do that.
Okay.
Yes, I can show you that as well.
Okay.
So, but generally we don't do it directly from the version control from the CLI. Sorry, from the graphical user interface because probably your organization is not using GitHub. They might be using GitLab or any other tool. So there is some limited functionality available with the graphical user interface, but generally it is not recommended to do that. So, but yes, we can do it from here. So I can go and there is an option of edit this file. So I can go edit
Okay.
it here, and from here also I can do it directly.
My organization uses GitLab.
Yeah,
What are the steps they do to do these things? Means
just a second.
what is the difference between the
Correct.
GitLab and
Okay.
GitHub?
So I'll do the commit changes here. So here also it will do the same thing. And here it says it has generated the message for you itself. Okay. So yeah. So Munir, GitHub or GitLab. See, whatever the command line operations we have seen will be exactly same. Either you are using GitLab, GitHub, Azure repos, AWS code commit, anything at all. No problem. It is just if you are using GitLab, this interface you are seeing on the screen that will be different from tool to tool, but the basic working will remain the same. So there is no difference in the working. Conceptual working it is same. How do you commit? How do you the git command will be same for all the tools which you are going to work for the version control system. Whether it's GitLab, GitHub does not matter. The interface and other things will are going to be changed.
Okay.
Yeah, sir, can you please, check the chat? I guess Arya ma'am is having some doubts. Can you please check chat?
Other than, can I check if any of my teammates are? No, Arya. Okay. See, if you want to work in a collaborative environment, then you have to come to GitHub. But what you can do here is, if you see here in my repository, so if I run git log, for example, so here you are seeing that these changes has been done. So to answer your question, yes, you can see it, but let's say you take a clone at Monday. After that, someone has done some changes on Tuesday or Wednesday. You would not be able to see those changes. You will be able to see the changes till the time you have taken a clone. I think that answers your question, Arya. Okay. Anyone? Any other question? Priyas, Pavan, are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sir.
good.
Yes, sir. Sir,